No, venga.
Bora.
And I remember even when I was younger, like I was on the ground.
Mas também acho que a gente tá numa Bahia, né? Pode ser alguma coisa assim.
Protege do sol, mas não.
Não tirar.
But in the south there is actually a pine tree forest. Where to swim, of course, pine. I also went out also, but both there was hiking and swimming.
Tínhamos dois, três. Só que eles cumpriram.
Tişört, for an entirely modern Venice.
machines that once fought and raged became the bones of the new institute. Boys in a coral cover formed the vibrant library. Soon our people returned in our love. Our girls played the same books, the way it was conceived.
What's interesting about traditional global scale diasporas, which is something that we is pretty much engaged in this kind of process, and in fact, in the installation that Carlo curated for the Biennale project is an installation, is a silhouette of the villa, where you can see faces and people speaking, and we engage the community in this sense, so we take care, of course, of the people first. This is the main address of the mayor, so we talk to these people every day. They call us, they call the chief of the cabinet of the mayor every day.
This is Turkey? No, no, this is something else. Let's see. ¿sabes? En realidad yo creo que es como, o sea, yo creo que no puedo ser una cosa muy seria.
Nella zona industriale erano arrivati solo 147 impianti di raffinamento
Termini ambientali, impianti emanavano fumi e vapori densi, inquinando l'aria. Possibile continuare. Il progetto della città di
Hai detto la risale, alias cos'è
Nel 2026 dell'Azerbaigian ha come priorità la città di Ankara di diventare un simbolo della profonda trasformazione della nucleare nella storia d'Italia, ma di un fulgido esempio per le città di